After President William Ruto was humiliated badly in Kalou by-elections, which happened yesterday on 16th of July, now today he has convened a crisis meeting and he has called upon all the UDA leaders that he had entrusted the duty of providing or rather winning the election and bringing it home in UDA. However, the people he had entrusted the responsibilities of delivering the win from Kalou, they fumbled big time, and now he has convened a crisis meeting to reprimand some of the leaders and their conduct in Kalou, which led the DCP trouncing UDA party a big margin of 30,000 votes margin. There are many people he had entrusted the duty of making sure they have delivered the Kalou seat. A myriad of leaders, high-profile leaders, had camped in Kalou. Though there are those who would come and go, they are the main ones, and I'm gonna talk about them. Now, we had Governor Cecily Mbarire, who is the Embu governor and the UDA national chairperson, who joined the campaign rallies to drum up support for Samuel Moshina Nyaga. Governor Anne Waiguru equally was there with the Kirinyaga governor. She equally led high-profile campaign teams on the ground. We have Faith Gitau. Faith Gitau is the Nyandarua County woman representative who hosted and coordinated major strategic campaign drives across the constituency. We have Moses Kuria, the prominent politician who hit the ground distributing infrastructure materials like water pipes to boost the UDA bid. We have Dennis Itumbi, who served as a key strategist and also was in charge of the UDA digital campaign mobilization. Sabina Chege is the nominated member of parliament, actively traversed wards to mobilize voters for the candidate. Njuguna Kawanjiku, the Kiamba member of parliament, who is equally joined the team during the critical final campaign leg. We have George Gashagwa, who is the Ndaragwa member of parliament, campaigned heavily alongside the local teams. Mwangi Kiunjuri, the Laikipia East MP, served as a key government campaigner leading up to the vote. And then we have the Maina Korobia, who is the East African Legislative Assembly member of parliament, joined the strategic strategy and also grassroots engagement. Rebecca Miano is a senior official who helped also to consolidate the team by welcoming prominent defectors to the UDA camp. Now, those are all the people who joined others in the campaign trail of Samuel Moshina Nyaga. However, there are those who could visit the likes of Kapseret member of parliament, Oscar Sudi. He visited once. We could see him sitting with the children, holding kids, giving money. He was there, but he read all the signs that in Kalou they had already decided that it was DCP Sami Nyaga. Now, President William Ruto is not happy. He's so bitter, especially with Moses Kuria, Faith Gitau, Sabina Chege, Koimburi, and to some extent George Gashagwa. But more especially Moses Kuria, Sabina Chege, Faith Gitau is so bitter with these individuals because they promised heaven but delivered hell. They promised him that the Kalou constituency can equally embrace UDA party. All it needed is a little of some token, and when Ruto had that, he was so determined to have the seat home in UDA. Therefore, he really mobilized and also gave out huge cash of money to give to the people of Kalou, because this is after these members of parliament, including the former Gatundu member of parliament, who is Moses Kuria, insinuated that the people for Kalou can vote for UDA if they are pampered and money is poured in that constituency. So William Ruto did the same, but it never happened. Number two, the crisis meeting is because instead of promoting William Ruto, in fact, they finished William Ruto completely from the Mount Kenya region. They wiped William Ruto away from the Mount Kenya region because they embraced goonism. And those goons, when they came, they frustrated the people, they intimidated the people. Even those who believed in UDA, after seeing how those locals were being beaten by these goons, then others now said that now we won't support this goon, we won't support this, we won't support this government that beats the common mwananchi. So to some extent, William Ruto realized that Moses Kuria, Faith Gitau, and the rest, and the Koimburi member of parliament, not Koimburi actually, but how is he called? There's this guy, Mwangi Kiunjuri, the Laikipia East member of parliament, and we have the Kiambaa member of parliament, Njuguna Kawanjiku. In fact, these are the people who are mobilizing goons, and they were seen even in the camera. This man called Njuguna Kawanjiku, who is the Kiambaa member of parliament, he was seen yesterday together with those goons holding fire, and he was directing them on what to do, on how to cause the mayhem and how to cause the tension in Kalou, so that they can deliver that intimidation for the people to fear coming out to vote and see how they could rig in their UDA candidate. But haikuwezekana. And then number 3, we all know that these people did not deliver. They lied to President William Ruto. They knew what actually happened. They knew what was happening in Kalou, but they decided to eat William Ruto's money. And that is why there was a crisis meeting to reprimand some of these leaders because they didn't deliver. Yeah, they didn't deliver completely. And in fact, I want to talk about Moses Kuria. Moses Kuria, from what Rigathi Gachagua said, is one person who is really determined to kill most of the Kikuyu community members, and that is why he suggested the use of goons.
Nobody can believe that Kikuyu's member of parliament can join William Ruto to kill their own kinsmen because of an election. And all of them will be voted out, I can assure you. No member of parliament or senate working with William Ruto to unleash violence on our people will be re-elected. And Moses Kuria, shame on you. You are organizing gangs and goons to attack our people in Kalou. For the longest, you have been organizing goons to attack businesses belonging to the Kikuyu nation. Our people have really suffered under your hands. How much money do you Kikuyu traitors need from William Ruto to betray your people and turn against them, and brutalize them, and maim them, and use guns?
But again, not only Moses Kuria, even Faith Gitau had his goons, had her goons. You know, those goons were caught, they were beaten, the goons that were hired by Faith Gitau. And when the goons were asked to speak on who contracted them and who gave them the money to goon around, they mentioned Faith Gitau. Most of them, they mentioned Faith Gitau. I would have uploaded that video here for you to see, but they're so graphic. In fact, they stripped them naked. They beat them up like stray dogs. That is when they said that they were sent by Faith. So these people, they are using goons to try and beat up Sami Ngodho in Kalou, but haikuwezekana. Haikuwezekana kabisa. And equally, there is someone who has said something that caught my attention. That is Cosmo Choi. Normally, I don't like this Cosmo Choi because he's full of himself and he doesn't, at times he doesn't speak from the experience, the political angle. He speaks from his pride. But today, he said something that caught my attention. He even said that those people who are campaigning for UDA, they wanted to enrich themselves. They are not people to be trusted. And even said that Kalou was a region that is known that it cannot back down from what they believe in. And it was there like that even from the time of Moi. And therefore, he said that William Ruto was duped into pouring all the funds in Kalou because they already knew the results. Yeah, so that tells you from what Cosmo Choi is saying is indicating that the people closer to William Ruto are the ones who lied to him that Kalou is irredeemable or that is redeemable. I want you to watch this video where Jose Mokoi was speaking.
Huyu atakaa 6-7 months kama mbunge, tutaenda another one. It was not necessary. Sasa ingine kwa miaka yangu ni vile advice watu wawashike advice. Watu wanaona wako smart, they can do anything. It was not necessary kununulia watu mattresses. Wakina Moses Kuria wanaenda kununulia mattresses, meko. Wameaipika. Which is very bad. Kura ipitafuti namna hiyo. Wakikuyu wamekataa rais. Hata hao wako na sisi, ministers, CSS. Hakuna kitu, hata PSS. Hakuna kura watatupea. Hii ya Wakikuyu imeenda. Hata wapembereso wapake mafuta ya nguruwe imeenda. Tafuta kura kwa Waluya, concentrate kwa Waluya na watu wa Coast na Wacharuo. Hii imeenda. Na nimesema sikutaka kuongelea until and I was waiting ndio ni make remarks. It was not necessary kukombiti kutuma watu wakae huko for 2 months, kutumia pesa mingi for nothing. Wakikuyu wamekataa rais. Believe it or not. Hata hao wako wa serikali ni kukura wanakura, tese waje tukule. Ikifika 2027 watakutoroka. Na nimesema nyamuto kama mama. Na nimesema mara mingi. Hii tapia Olmano umetuma wakina Sudi huko wanashika watoto. Kila pahali unatuma Faruku Kipeti. Kila mara unatuma watu wengine, hata huyu wa chama chetu kubwa atiusi. Nimesema mara mingi kwa ground kubwa Kenya mzima. Watu wanatambua mimi Kasmo. Mimi ndio naweza kutafutia wewe kura. Hii takataka vimtoto yote ni mnyambo ya kuku. Ati wanatuma wanaenda na mahelikopta. Wakalenjin siku hizi wanatembea na mahelikopta. Kila pahali wanatembea, wako na pesa mingi wanapea. Hapana, kura inunuliwi hivyo. Waende kwa ground. Huko juu hakuna watu. Kuja kwa ground mkipita mnaongea na watu. Hiyo ndio hiyo. Hii mahelikopta komesa watu yako nyamuto kama mama. Watu yenu usiwapee pesa ati kila pahali wakienda ni helicopter wanatumia. Watu kubwa special kutafutia kura hakuna. Kenya hii sio malingo. Niende kwa Wacharuo, niende kila pahali watu wanatambua Cosmo Joy, wanasema bila mkisi Cosmo Joy. Tafuta watu kama 20 kama mimi kwa kutafutia kura. Hivi mtoto wengine na wengine, na nimesema umekuwa mbunge 2 term, unatafuta 3rd term. Nilienda Nakuru, mama ngine anaitwa Spi Cherera anatafuta 3rd term.
Now, this crisis meeting in State House came because of what happened yesterday. And I remember the time in Kisii and Nyamira when we had the by-elections. There are 3 by-elections. Silvanus Osoro is the member of parliament South Magrango. Would carry money. He would carry money with the sacks. I remember him. I saw him in Goose Stadium carrying the money in bags that was delivered by William Ruto. They told William Ruto that with that huge sums of money, we can easily dupe the people of Nyamira into voting for UDA, not Matiang'i's party, because Matiang'i's party is so dominant and everyone in the Gusii region is singing Matiang'i and the wave is Matiang'i. So they tried that and William Ruto accepted. He gave them the money they needed, everything. But unfortunately, it happened that they lost greatly. Afterwards, they were called upon, a crisis meeting was made, and even Silvanus Osoro was dumped. In fact, he said that he could entrust the funds with the governor Kisii Simba Paul Arati, and that is how Silvanus Osoro was removed from that high table, because of how he fumbled with the election money. Now, when you look at the story on what happened in Kalou and what happened in Gusii during the by-election, you realize that everything is the same. Number one, in Nyamira, the people themselves guarded their votes. When they see a funny vehicle coming into the polling station, or the tallying center, they would stop it. No one would enter with a car. No one. That is the same thing that happened in Nyandarua, in Kalou. They really protected their votes. Number two, in Nyandarua, Kalou, they voted with their minds. They were given everything, given money, given roads, given everything. But the people there decided to vote for who they believe in. The same case happened in Gusii during the by-election. And in the by-election, people were really being supplied with money. Inaisha ingine inakuja. But finally wakapigia someone who is allied to Fred Okengo Matiang'i. Another thing is like we are embracing the use of goons, because even in Gusii by-election, there was a lot of insecurity. Goons were everywhere. But later we understood that they were sent by Osoro. And then lastly, in Kalou, the opposition won. And equally in Gusii they won, and also in Kalou they won. That is a resemblance. So this crisis meeting has raised a lot of concern, but is about going to make the house in order. I don't know what you think. Write your comment down there in the comment section. Let us talk, let us discuss. Perhaps it can form a basis of whatever we're going to talk about in the next video.